It is 8 a.m. on this Friday morning. Happy Friday to all of you. It is Kincaid and Sal Tunis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And joining us in studio, she does each and every Friday for the final half of the show from NBC Sports Philadelphia, our favorite, Amy Fadool. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, everyone.
You had a busy day yesterday.
Great day.
At the Mink.
Yes.
At Arana Mink, the golf course. Obviously, it's where the tournament's happening right now. But you also had to catch up on the Sixers press conference, which we'll get your thoughts on that coming up in a few minutes. Coop was very upset with me during the press conference. He wanted me to build Legos. I was like, dude, I got to watch this.
I got to pay attention.
And he's like, but it's not a game. And I was like, you'll understand one day.
He might not. He might not, but it's all right.
But we also had the Eagles schedule release yesterday, Amy. So at some point, you, me, and Austin will do W's and L's because we're cool. John is not cool. John doesn't like to do W's and L's on the air.
Notice I'm not even argued with you.
But John Kincaid
I haven't argued with you about that.
Does have 5 losses, and it is our job to figure out what those 5 losses are. We'll do that throughout the course of the show. But Amy, any key takeaways that stood out to you when you first saw the schedule drop yesterday?
I was surprised that the bye week didn't follow London.
That's what we were all
That was my very first thing. Because we knew about the London game, and you assumed they don't always do it that way, but they tend to do it that way. So I was like, the amount of primetime games it doesn't. I don't know why it surprises me. I know it's coming,
right?
Because it's the Eagles, and they're a hot ticket across the nation. Everybody wants to see them. They're a great team. I get it, but I'm always surprised, no matter what, of just the sheer number of Thursday night, Sunday night, Saturday. I was like, wow, we got a lot of late night games.
Yeah, a ton. And they are toward the top alongside, and it's all the teams that you kind of expect.
Right.
I went through it this morning. Albert Breer put out the tweet yesterday. 8 teams wound up with 6 or 7 primetime games. Those teams: Cowboys, no shock. Mm-hmm. Eagles, no shock. Chicago Bears, no shock. Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks, your defending Super Bowl champions. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams. You're kind of not surprised by
those are contenders. Those are teams that have a fervent fan base, no matter where they are. Yeah. They show up all over the country, or in our case, all over the world. So the amount of Eagles fans are going to be in London is going to be outrageous.
There's going to be a ton.
It's going to be great.
Got a ton of fans out there. And Jimmy Kemsky did a great job for the Philly Voice doing the advantages and disadvantages of this schedule. One of the advantages, 3 straight home games toward the end of the season. That's a big one. But the disadvantage that's really standing out, and John did not change his tune on his 12 wins, almost 13, even after hearing this. There are 4 opponents that the Eagles are playing that are coming off of a bye this year. And that scares me a little bit.
That's a little tough. That's a lot, actually.
And it's in...
two of them are
gap.
Away, yeah.
So Panthers game, that's week 6. One. Panthers are coming off of a bye. Week 8, the Commanders are coming off of their week 7 bye. Week 9, the Giants are coming off of their week 8 bye. So you're getting into this almost at the bye week mode where your body's probably banged up at this point, and you're playing 3 teams that are coming
fresh.
off of a week. That freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, and that's obviously, I don't think I recognize that because... Good job, Jimmy Kemsky, because you have to obviously do some kind
of
look
at all the schedules. Yeah,
okay. I'm glad Jimmy did it, and I didn't have to.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
Want me to give you the
one of them is the Giants, so I'm not like super.
I'll give you the BetUS stat. So this is from BetUS because I did not do this research. BetUS did. The team where we talk about the teams with the extra rest going up against another. When you're talking about a team with extra rest, if there is if it is more than 2 days. So it has to be more than 2 days extra rest considered. When it's an extra rest situation from BetUS, in the last 5 years, the favored team still is winning the game outright 61% of the time.
Okay.
So it might be less, though. I mean, but that is the favored team. So if you're still favored, but it could hurt you because that means some favored teams are not winning.
The Eagles' bye week is later this year.
Yes. And
they had it.
You might be able to get this because of Bird's Huddle and everything. I was told yesterday from pretty good source that the Eagles declined the bye week after the London trip.
Really? I had not heard that.
So maybe somebody on the Eagles beat or wherever will be able to confirm that. I was told that they declined it, that you always have the option
One would think.
And that you have the option.
They wanted it later maybe because they've had it early the last couple of seasons.
And you have the option to decline the bye week after London, and that the Eagles did decline it.
Interesting.
So if someone can confirm that would be great.
All right. So, Amy,
yes,
here are the games or the area of games in which I think John Kincaid has a loss.
Has his loss.
And then we'll get your thoughts on the press conference yesterday. Our poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health, 4 hours strong every single morning. 56% of our audience saying that their hope meter went down after the press conference. Curious where Amy comes into play with that. So I don't think John has the Eagles losing any of the first two games, Washington or Tennessee. Austin Jones, who's playing along as well, agrees. Now, Austin, I think John has a loss between one of the Bears-Rams games.
I agree.
I'm not sure which one yet, but I think that's one of the first losses in that gap. I have already said I believe he will take Carolina as a loss. The trip back from London, Carolina coming off of a bye. That's a tough spot for the Eagles. So I have that as one of the losses. What about you, Austin?
I do not have Carolina as a loss this season.
Okay. I have one of the 3 straight NFC East games. Cowboys, Commanders, Giants.
Yeah.
I went Commanders. Austin went Giants. The reason why I have Commanders, short week, and they are coming off of a bye. Eagles play Monday night the previous week, so they're playing in 6 days. Commanders are coming off of a bye. That's a loss that I have. If I'm doing John's way of thinking.
7, 8, 9 week. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
One of those.
I agree.
I believe he has them splitting the Cowboys, so I go Thanksgiving loss.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
The one that I'm really caught up on right now is there is a gauntlet, and I'm already at 4 losses. And it's Colts, Seahawks, Texans, Niners. I know for a fact, knowing John Kincaid as well as I do, he does not have them losing to C.J. Stroud.
Well done.
Know that for a fact. I've not heard anybody else locally despise C.J. Stroud more than John Kincaid.
He cut his hair, though. He's ready to rock and roll this year.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
So I don't think that's a loss. So it's either one of the Colts Seahawks games or that San Francisco game. Does he have them winning Colts, Seahawks, Texans 3 straight?
He might.
That's where I'm caught up.
And then on the road to the Niners?
That's where I'm caught up the most right now.
Okay.
All right. So we'll try to figure this out.
Try to figure it out.
Am I right, Church?
I think you said some things in there that if people were watching on YouTube, they got some clues.
That I wasn't looking at you.
You brought up some good points.
All right.
I think so. I didn't try to hide my.
Okay.
I've done some process of elimination.
Exactly. And I really appreciate that, by the way, as someone who is extremely analytical, like way too analytical. I appreciate your thought process into this. Has been very solid.
Every once in a while, I give the hamster a Celsius, and then it starts
going.
It starts spinning a little bit faster. Usually it's the opposite effect of what I do at night that makes it slow down a lot. But every once in a while, I could kick it into gear. All right, your thoughts on the press conference yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good departure from what we had seen as far as the straightforwardness in certain aspects. I think Bob Myers is going to be pretty involved, not just in the search, we know that, but involved in the basketball operations of it all. That's his background. I know his role is head of sports, which is a great job.
Head of sports.
Isn't that great?
I want to be head of sports for all of the properties.
You sort of are over there. I mean, you really are.
I don't know if I'm head of them.
I see you on almost everything.
Cover them all.
I see you on almost everything.
But I think that, given his background, I don't think it's going to be a surprise that he's going to be working in tandem with whoever the new ops guy is, president of basketball operations guy. So I think that there's his background and the success he had with the Warriors. I think he's also able to identify some young executives out there in winning organizations. I think that's really important. When people are like, oh, well, who are they going to get? I was like, there's going to be names. You could throw out names. You don't know these people. It's not going to be, I would be surprised if it's a retread of somebody that, is super well known. Not that people know front office people really well, but I would think you would look at winning organizations and try to identify some young executives within them that are going to be up and comers type of vibe. That's what I took away from what Bob Myers is looking for.
I said it earlier in the show, and I'm glad you said it because we didn't talk to you about it off air. Is that my instinct was listening to him was he's going to still be here after he hires this guy. Not meddling,
no,
but overseeing, and that tells me we're getting a first-timer in that elevated, that higher role. But somebody that he identifies as being, this is an up-and-comer.
Yeah, I think that's the right call to make with this team. I think you have to have somebody that is innovative. Let's just be honest. Innovative, creative, work outside the box, whatever kind of catchphrases you want to use, because they are really hamstrung by what they are operating with and trying to build a team. And I don't mean talent-wise. They got lots of talent. There's no surprise by that. We know what this team is capable of. But if you're building a team, most teams do not have, actually, no teams have 3 players making 40 plus.
So let's play a clip that, to me, there was a lot of GM speak, as you can imagine, and there was a lot of.
It was very polished, but I appreciate that.
He could run for president.
I did too.
He could run for president right now and get votes because of the way he speaks. He definitely did the whole "we're gonna work hard" and he said.
Thank you for that.
All right, you're gonna work hard.
How much you make in a year? Yeah, I expect you to work hard. Thanks for that. Bravo.
But the very last question and answer I thought was the most impactful about what we can maybe expect this offseason, or at least moving forward, because we'll see how quickly, if you can, move off some of these contracts. Bob Myers was asked about having 3 max contracts on his roster, and take a listen to his answer that I think kind of tells you exactly what he believes is going on in the NBA right now.
Well, we didn't get it done this year with 3 guys, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. I don't totally. I think I know where you're going, and I think it's a smart question in that what's the modern roster supposed to look like with the second apron, really, which is oftentimes operates as kind of a hard cap. Depth may be more important than it's ever been. Maybe that's the pace of play. Maybe that's what we require of our players more. Not to say that this model doesn't work, but we have to look at what happened this year and be honest about it and see if we got to be honest about can this model work, right? And that's really the question. And also understanding that depth is key, and you only have a certain amount of resources to spend. So that's all part of the questions. It's all part of what we need to figure out going forward.
And let's face it, they had one legitimate playable guy off the bench, and even Quentin Grimes had limitations. The other 2 were necessity. Like Joel Embiid can't play every minute, so somebody stand there.
Some tall human.
And you know what? That's kind of what Andre Drummond did, was stand there, and then Adem Bona was, hey, try not to screw up, and he did that a lot.
Try not to foul every second.
Well, that's the hard part for him.
Yeah, he's not good at basketball. I'm sorry to tell people that. The Sixers need a bench, and to Bob Myers' point, it's kind of hard to have a bench when 3 of your players are accumulating. What's the percentage of their cap, do you think? Just those 3 guys. It's got to be
90.
Right. Like they take up so much of the cap.
Next year it's like 56, 54, and 40.
So does that give you an idea of, all right, Bob Myers will probably not be a big 3 guy because he also realizes that's the way the NBA is going. Somehow Daryl Morey did not. And do you believe he's definitely going to try to move off of one of the 2 contracts this offseason?
I mean, my gut instinct is absolutely. I think as successful as Bob Myers has been, he realizes what the NBA is turning into and what it's become. And you need, I feel like I'm beating the dead horse. You have to have more than 6 players.
Yeah.
Even if your best players, look at the Bucks. Even if your best player is one of the best players in the world, you still need more humans than that.
Yeah.
Humans that can do more than one thing, I should say, too. So absolutely. If it was me and the way that I think that the Bob Myers is running this team, is he going to try to move off of one of the big contracts? Absolutely. The limitations that it gives the Sixers is just, the pros and cons are just completely out of whack. You have to be able to move off of one of those if you want to sign any meaningful players instead of just, guys for pennies on the dollar. You can't just have humans to have humans for the sake of, I need a basketball team and I got to go 12 down. You need actual players.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. I know he's a local guy. Kyle Lowry should not have been on this bench.
No.
Like that was a waste.
No,
and so was Eric Gordon early on in the year. Like, you need not just bodies, to your point, bodies that can do something. Kyle Lowry was Udonis Haslem.
People under 35.
Well, what did you feel, though, was the message yesterday though was supportive? It was supportive, but it wasn't effusive support of Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation because I think we talked about it on Tuesday. It's unusual, highly unusual in any sport where you have the GM and the coach are not intricately linked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? It's very strange for one to be fired. Now, if you're going to fire one, usually you fire the coach and then the GM is later to go. This is what the Sixers did before. I think that there's a lot of respect for Nick Nurse. I think there's a lot of respect for what he was able to do with this team. I just want to reiterate one thing. They had 21 games of 82. 21 where Nick Nurse and his coaching staff had Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George. 21. I think that's when you go through and you're looking at the things that why keep Nick Nurse, that's going to be out there. When they had no Paul George for 25 games, in those 25 games, Joel Embiid missed 19, Tyrese Maxey missed 9. They went 13-12. That's pretty good considering who was playing out there. No offense to these players, but I'm just going to name them. Dominic Barlow, Andre Drummond, Justin Edwards, who I really appreciate, Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe played all of them. That's not you don't look at that roster and think, wow, they won 13 games. They had some really good wins in that span. They had a great win in Portland, who's a very good team. So I think when you're looking at why he has, not effusive, but a healthy amount of respect for Nick Nurse, I think Bob Myers looked at what he was able to do this year with what he had and thought, all right, why not give this guy another?
Does it limit you in any way you believe in hiring a new basketball operations guy when they can't hire their own coach?
Yeah, I don't know that it limits you in the fact that you're not going to get your guy. I think it does limit you in the scope of what you're looking for. But I think that generally you need to be a little bit limited. You have to have somebody in line. So when you're having these conversations, I'm sure Bob Myers and Nick Nurse are having these conversations, visions of this team. Here's what I've got. I'm Bob Myers. Here's what I've got. This is what I think. You tell me what you think. Nick Nurse is going to say, you know who I would really like? And he's going to probably have his list because this is what so that's going to be the step one. I think it's usually 3 or 4 steps down the road because you would have that conversation with your new president of basketball operations. But I think in this case, it's going to limit their scope in not necessarily a bad way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad way. As long as they're on the same page of what they want.
I just worry about it, Andrew, because of the fact is, if you keep Nurse around, the new head of basketball operations is going to want to give him a legit shot by getting him players that fit what he wants to do. And then do you go get players that fit what Nick Nurse wants to do that don't fit if they have to make a coaching change?
Yeah, I think the idea is that you want it. The president of basketball operations has his own things, and there's some compromise in between.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the takeaway that
Sure.
I'm hoping for. I thought it was really interesting. Bob Myers had some comments about, and it's a view of leadership I've long shared. You don't want some leader that thinks they've got every single thing figured out.
Right.
No one wants that.
He mentioned team so many times, and not team like players, like team like front office.
He came from the Warriors.
Yeah.
To me, the mark of a great leader is recognizing you have certain shortcomings and surrounding yourself with people that fill in those gaps. You cannot do it all by yourself. I think that that's a tendency when you are a president of any kind of operations, baseball, basketball, whatever. I've got all the answers because that's kind of your role. But to recognize yourself as like, all right, well, maybe I'm not as well versed into what the league is doing right now. Maybe I'm kind of tunnel vision on this. Maybe I need to recognize what the East is doing specifically. And then so you draw someone. I would be very surprised if it's not somebody, a new president of basketball operations, is not somebody, one, from a winning organization, and two, that is completely unfamiliar with the East. I would think you would have to have somebody that has some kind of background about how the East operates and I don't mean like the East, just the NBA East, right? I mean how things operate in the Northeast as far as Philadelphia
there's
is concerned.
A name that I'm really
New York is concerned.
I'm intrigued by Howard, who obviously broke the Morey story before anybody else, and you heard him on with Middays with Marks earlier this week. Howard Eskin said one of the names to keep an eye on is Andre Iguodala. And I'm really intrigued. I know he's bright in terms of his business side of things, post-playing career. He knows the town. He knows the organization. And who did he finish the majority of his career with?
Warriors.
And
very good with the Warriors.
And who was with the Warriors?
Yep.
Bob Myers was with the Warriors. If we're talking about maybe grooming a protege, that kind of sounds like a decent idea. Amy, your thoughts? Iggy?
Yeah. I mean, he certainly is familiar with the East. I think that would be a really big job. It's not to say he can't do it, but there's some serious messes to clean up as far as getting this thing back on track.
I think Bob Myers cleans the messes.
Right.
I think Iguodala's there and learns.
One of the names that I have heard a couple out there comes from a winning organization, used to be with the Sixers, is Vince Rodman.
Interesting.
Ooh, okay.
Right. I know Sam Hinkie's a big Vince Rodman.
Yes, he is.
He was also a big Daryl Morey guy. All right, coming up next, believe it or not,
I'm walking on air.
we can have winners and losers of a schedule release day. I found an article this morning from NFL.com.
Oh, winners and losers.
How do you lose schedule day?
Yeah, how do you lose that?
So I'm excited to find out.
They'll tell you how.
Some of the coverage was terrible.
The winners and losers, and somebody on Fox has already played out the entire season.
Yes, of course they have. Perfect.
It's Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, believe it or not, you can have winners and losers following the NFL schedule release. There is an article on NFL.com by Eric Edholm who did the winners and losers of the NFL schedule.
I'm dying to know how you lose schedule day.
He's a great dude, by the way.
We will let you know, are the Eagles a winner or a loser?
They should be a winner
They're a big winner.
of schedule day.
Big winner in my book.
I thought the
way they handled schedule day
it was
really
it
good.
was a fun schedule release.
Andrew wasn't very impressed with it.
No?
No, he didn't really like it.
I didn't finish the video.
See,
It was like, all right, they're just kind of sitting at a table and reacting. I'll just Google the schedule. Like, it's all good. By the way, I knew the schedule at 3:30. Like, this wasn't leaks yesterday.
Yeah, it was full on releases.
Like a dam opened up. Like, we knew the entire schedule.
It was one after another after another.
It's more every year.
I was like, oh,
yeah,
like there's only one game I don't know about.
I don't think it was 4:00 yet. And I was like, oh, well, if this is true,
this has to happen.
We have the Eagles schedule. It was crazy.
It's like NFL free agency. You already know everything by the time it's official.
Yeah,
it's sort of like June 1st is going to be for us.
Won't be
or
here,
June 2nd for you, Andrew, when
here.
you show up as Shefty scolded you.
Damn right he did. By the way, Austin Jones, our insider, our
intrepid,
our front office insider, Austin Jones, he did his crackpot research here. The numbers of Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey, they combined for $144 million last year. The team spent $193.
Oh my God!
That's 74% of the money that was spent last year by the Sixers was those three players.
It's criminal.
So, yeah, you can't win this way. Like, you have to move off of one of these contracts, and you have to be able to afford other players than Kelly Oubre, because that's like the only thing I keep on hearing is they got to get Kelly Oubre back. I like Kelly Oubre. No problem with him. Right?
He was the best 3-point shooting of his career.
Yeah,
he's a good defender.
Like, I like him. It's just
done.
I can't believe it's like that's the number one thing they have to do.
They've got to get Kelly Oubre back should never be a sentence.
No, the number one thing is
Kelly Oubre's back. What else can we do?
That's exactly.
What else can we do?
Or it's good that we got Kelly Oubre back.
What else?
Now what? Yeah, exactly.
But it should never be. We've got to get Kelly Oubre back.
This is not rocket science. We just saw what they need. You just saw it.
Talented players.
You need length
and more of them.
3-point shooting.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
It's
what you needed
hard.
last year. It's what you needed at the trade deadline, and it's what you need right now.
And you need to have like 2 of each of those.
Yeah.
Not like one.
One from aisle 2, one from aisle 3.
We were at the trade deadline, and we're like, what do you think they should do?
Well, they should get a backup big. They should get a this. They should get a that. And it was like, no, we're just going to trade away Jared McCain, and that's it. Call it a day. All right. NFL.com, winners and losers.
Winners and losers of schedule day.
Really?
With the NFL's 2026 schedule released in its entirety, I wanted to award some winners and losers, not just teams, but also coaches and players who either benefited from the way the schedule was arranged or faced some extra challenges because of it. Here are some of the things that stood out to me. So one of the winners, and he's right, and part of me wonders, did the NFL give this team a little bit of a break? The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, because they have the Week 5 bye, 2 of their first 4 opponents aren't all that tough. I still think he's going to be playing Week 1 because why would they put Broncos Chiefs as the Monday night matchup, the first Monday night matchup, and it not have Mahomes in it?
Here it is, too. Something I did not know yesterday till I watched NFL Live. ESPN made that choice, not the NFL.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's no way
that is the NFL, these television partners, they draft these games. When you make these purchases, they draft them. This is not the NFL saying put Patrick Mahomes Week 1 on. This is ESPN taking a gamble that Mahomes is available. I have no idea why they do that, especially when something like Bills Lions was not an option for them. People are saying, well, Bills Lions would have been the perfect game for Week 1. That wasn't an option. You're given, these TV networks are given, here's the proposed schedule for Week 1. This is the
Right,
Week
here
1.
are your options.
Now bid.
What do you want?
Now we're going to bid, and they have their little bidding schedule.
It's good that they can call Adam Schefter at any time and say, hey, Shefty, do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing Week 1?
And I don't think that they, it's the way it broke.
So the Eagles are one of the 5 winners, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Only 5 winners.
On schedule release day.
They're a big winner.
The Philadelphia Eagles, here's why they are a winner. I can't believe we have an article of winners and losers. That might be worse than W's and L's for you, Johnny.
It might be worse, yes.
All right, last season, the Eagles became the first team to repeat as NFC's champs in more than 20 years, and they appear to be in strong enough position to make it 3 straight division titles now that we've seen what looks to be a very favorable schedule. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts might be facing some pressure, and A.J. Brown might soon be gone. Not might, will be. But this is a slate the Eagles can take advantage of, even with 5 primetime games and an overseas trip on tap. After opening with the Commanders and Titans, things get thicker, especially with the Bears, Rams, Jaguars cluster. But there's nothing treacherous thereafter. Yes, the Eagles have 3 different pairs of back-to-back road games. They also have 3-game homestand over the holidays in December, which is nice timing against quality opponents, Colts, Seahawks, Texans. Even with 2 roadies to close out the season, including Week 17 at San Fran, the Eagles' schedule lays out pretty nicely, featuring a well-placed bye in Week 10. He's got him as a winner. John?
I think it's an easy winner.
Great.
It's an easy choice.
It's only 5, though. Only 5 winners.
Only 5 winners.
Does that mean everybody else is
It's
a
an
loser, or
easy
there's people that
choice.
just are
No, he only has
flat?
4 losers. The winners were Mahomes and the Chiefs, Aaron Glenn, the Green Bay Packers, the Eagles, and the Saints. The losers were the Niners, Ben Johnson, the Miami Dolphins. They're just going to lose because they stink, and Mike LaFleur. The other
Mike
loser.
LaFleur.
So there you go. There's your winners and losers.
Couple of
Hey,
coaches.
LaFleur.
Now let's go even one step further. Henry McKenna of Fox Sports has the whole season.
It's already done?
He has their records.
He-
He's
have to
trying to
show
jump.
up.
He's trying to jump the annual. That's what Pete Prisco does. He's trying to jump the Prisco arc.
He has the playoff seedings.
Oh, come on. No, you do it if you do the whole season. You have the playoff seeding.
In the AFC,
Yeah, but you do.
the Broncos will earn the 1 seed.
Please bookmark that so we can come back to it later.
Broncos will be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Oh.
The Bengals will be the 2 seed. Jacksonville, the winners of the South, will be the 3 seed. Buffalo will be the winners of the AFC East.
The
They'll be
Bengals are
4th
the 2 seed.
Yes. Baltimore, your 5th seed as a wild card team. Chargers, 6th seed as a wild card team. And the Patriots will sneak in as the 7th seed.
Sneaky little Patriots.
Now we have the NFC.
Well, they're sneaky, all right.
Yeah, they are.
So we go
least the
from
coaches.
biggest losers being the San Francisco 49ers in one article. Another article has the Niners as the number 1
They're the number
seed
1 overall
in
seed.
in the NFC.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Lions as the 2 seed. The
Okay.
Eagles as the winners of the NFC East for the 3rd straight year. They will be the 3 seed, and they will be the lone representative of the NFC East in the playoffs.
Oh.
Saints, winners of the South as your 4 seed, and then the wild card teams, Seahawks, Rams, Bears. So 3 teams in the NFC West again. 2 teams in the NFC North with the Lions and the Bears.
Yeah. I don't think that there's any real surprise on that.
They're not going to be the 3 seed, but
No.
I can agree with it.
All those teams sound about right.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, but wait.
He has the Eagles losing in the NFC wild card round.
Stop it.
Rams beat the Eagles 24-20.
Has he have any history about how those games go?
I don't know. He's got this Super Bowl, too. He's got the Broncos beating the Niners 29-28. He has scores. The Eagles will be losing to the Rams 24-20.
Is there any methodology behind this that he says?
He smoked a lot of weed last night and said, let me bang out this article.
I feel like this is something that I would ask. Like I would ask my 11-year-old because that would be something that Shawnee would be so jazzed to do. He would give you the entire playoff scenario right now and scores because it's not based in reality. It's just based in like, hey, it's just a fun exercise. 29-28. Broncos beat the who?
Beat the Niners.
Niners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both
That's
1 seeds, by the way. Both 1 seeds.
And the 1 seeds make it all the way.
and
Yeah.
winning
And a 1-point Super Bowl.
The Niners.
We clicked on it though.
Eric, I just do not. I do not agree with Eric's work. I admire his hustle. I do not agree with his work, though.
You ready for Bo Nix versus Brock Purdy?
No.
In the Super Bowl, man.
No. I'd be fine. I admire what Bo has done. Admire what Bo has completed.
I think we all can. The Brock Purdy thing can just stop.
Yeah, I would look forward to that to be done. All right, what do we have on the text line? Davis on the text line.
Is
You
it
can
the Mr.
feel the
Irrelevant
Davis difference.
part?
Check him out in Burlington. What do we got, Austin?
Yeah, our guy Mike in Turnersville got a little worked up. He said, I had to pull over my car because I was about to puke after hearing all the excuses for Nick Nurse. Are we sure we would play better guys if they were on the bench? If he would play guys if they were better players on the bench. He didn't play McCain. His strategy against the Knicks was laughable outside of Embiid. Every other player quit before Game 4 started versus the Knicks. Nurse won a title in a lucky bounce from Kawhi, playing his mind out.
So we had a comment on our YouTube chat. 215 legend, also very anti Nick Nurse, is amazed by the love affair we have with Nick Nurse. I'll make this
seems strong.
First of all,
I'll make this clear.
love affair?
Nick Nurse. What have I said about Kevin Long? The last 3 years of us work, or 2.5 years of us work.
You always say that he can't take the blame,
No. I've said he could get hired, signed to a 10-year extension right now,
and it wouldn't make a difference.
or he could get fired right now, and I wouldn't think much would change. If Nick Nurse got fired because they wanted to do the tandem firing of Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse, I go, all right, that makes sense. You have the new president of basketball operations.
Brings in his own guy.
Pick his guy. If Nick Nurse stays, what has he done that you really say he was really bad at this? I
think Nick deserves to stay.
Yeah, I think that people are conflating when we give out reasons because that's the question is why would Nick Nurse stay? Well, here's some reasons that a general manager or a front office or whomever you want to call who's running the front office, we'll just call it for all encompassing purposes. Why would you keep the coach? Here are reasons that they probably spoke to. He didn't have his full roster complement. You had guys that came off the bench that were not productive offensively. You hamstrung him by not getting anybody at the trade. Like there are reasons behind that. So
Not excuses.
To that text,
exactly.
Who was scoring off the bench? The guy was like, our texter just said, would he even play guys off the bench if they got new guys?
Wait a minute, though. That's a fair question.
It depends on who those guys are.
He let Jared McCain.
Yes,
did
and
he give
I
Jared
don't
McCain
excuse
a fair
him.
shake?
No, I don't believe that he did.
Nobody believes. I don't think any ex-NBA players that are.
But
commenting
everybody
on it
else,
believe he
like
got a fair shake.
who that didn't play, are you playing?
He tried Trendon Watford. That
He
worked
did.
out for a little bit.
We were at the game.
And then it didn't.
Yeah.
He used Justin Edwards on occasion. That's a matchup. Justin Edwards is a fine role player.
Yeah.
A 9. The ninth guy.
It's a bunch of
Fine
guys.
role player.
Like, I like Justin Edwards.
Yes, but you're like fine role.
I like
player
him just
type.
fine.
Yeah.
I like him just fine.
That's bad news.
All right,
Amen.
But I mean, he's your 9th guy, though.
I know, but no guy
You
wants
need to
to
have a
hear
6
that.
guy. You need to have a 6 and a 7.
And
Those
you
are the
don't
most-
have those.
6'7"?
Here we go.
Oh. All right, coming up next.
You did not have those.
He doesn't even know what it is. And he still goes
I'm
yuck.
out. Did ownership green light the most discussed trade from the NBA this past season? Josh Harris was asked about it. He also talked about the luxury tax. We'll talk about that next with you here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
at Sal Chunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 8:47 here on Kincaid and Sal Chunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up at 9 o'clock, our man Kevin Nagandi will join us from ESPN. Can't wait to talk to Kevin because not only is he, just like all of us, a big Philadelphia sports fan, so we can get his reaction to the Eagles schedule coming out, the Sixers press conference yesterday, but Kevin's at ESPN, where Bob Myers worked for a couple of years. So I'm curious, has Kevin had many run-ins with Bob Myers and just how bright he is? Because that's all you hear about Bob Myers is that he is a
he
very
won 4 championships
bright mind.
Yes.
running that front office.
But not just basketball, like just business, like just everything.
I think you saw that in the presentation. I was like, well, this is just the way that it gave a confident air. And I think for a fan base that is looking for some kind of stability and knowledge, we don't ask for a lot here in Philadelphia. We ask for people to seem like they know what they're doing, be confident in that, and not have this volatility of this question of like, well, I got it figured out. I'm not going to tell you, but I got this. I don't know that you do got it.
Can you figure it out?
I don't know if you do got it, but I felt like the way that the press conference was, I thought it was about as transparent as they could have been.
Sure.
You don't want to give away all the secrets of what you're looking for.
You don't have the guy hired yet.
You don't know. That's going to be another press conference. But here's the direction we're going. Here's what we're looking for in a president of basketball operations. Here's the direction of this team. That's what people want to know. They want to know the direction of the team. And if you think about it, this has been a very interesting time in a much bigger interesting time of the Sixers.
Yeah.
The process era was a wild time.
Sure was.
It did not work in the way that they wanted it to. There's aspects of the process that worked. It didn't work as a whole.
It basically led to where you were at before the process, which is
correct. Which is why we're back in this the 7 or 8 seed.
Bad contracts.
6. You're stymied by some contracts that are tough to get out
stymied. I like the stymied word.
We're basically right back where we were.
So it's like I think you're in a good place with some of the young players, but you still have some things to clean up. And I appreciated the way the press conference was handled. And I thought, well, at least they're giving us some kind of here's what we're looking for. Here's the goal we're setting out to do. Let us know. We'll let you know when we get there because we're hoping we're on the right road. Type of vibe.
Josh Harris was also at the press conference. There was it was very Howie and Nick for a while, where like Nick kind of sat there, and Howie was answering all the questions.
Yeah.
At one point,
didn't you feel that way?
Well, at one point, Bob Myers literally said, "Can somebody ask Josh a question? This is weird."
He's just like. He was like, all right.
Like, can somebody talk to that guy? He needed a drink of water. So here's Josh Harris. He was being point blank asked about the trade of Jared McCain. Like, hey, did you have your hand in this? Were you involved with this? This is not the luxury tax question. We'll play that one next. This was just, hey, did you give the green light, the thumbs up to trade Jared McCain?
Yeah, so the way these things work generally with something like that is the front office makes a recommendation, and then ownership, which included Bob at that point, we okayed it. So I think we were involved in it. It was part of a bigger plan. It's not. I wouldn't say that. As Bob said, we don't know the outcome of that trade right now. We are sitting here with the 22nd pick, but I understand what you're saying, and I understand the question, and I heard all, and obviously I understand the view of it here. So I think that right now we're focused on what do we do with all the assets we got in that trade, and we'll know whether that trade was a good trade or not a good trade, over the next year or two. And but yes, that's the way it works.
It's a very smart basketball answer. You'll find out in 2 years. It wasn't a necessary trade, but you heard him mention it. It was the part of a bigger plan. They thought they had another deal in the works, and Daryl Morey misread the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm sure there were deals
clear
out there. I think that's one of the things that is, when you look at what doomed him, that was the death knell.
Yeah.
There was other things. That's the death knell because you did not turn it into whether you had deals that were already like locked in place. Hey, if we get this, this, and this, are you guys interested? Yeah. And then they don't come to fruition. I get it. Those things happen in front offices across all sports. But when you've had the other missteps and then you put in a player that has now turned out to be a pretty nice player on a winning team, that's tough. That's a death knell.
Do you believe that it's the job that executives always have a deal in place before they make the first deal?
Yeah, I mean
that's sort of what I feel too. But I wonder
think he had deals. I think that there were like, hey, if we get this, this, and this, would you guys be interested? Yeah, I think that there was probably things that were like, hey, we might be interested. How interested? Like, what? How do we sweeten the pot? And then, maybe when the other team kicked the tires on it, they were like,
well, so here's
not as enamored with that.
So you may be jump, meaning you may be jump going, yeah.
I think you have like a good feel for it. I think you think that it's going to turn into something based on both conversations you have with other front offices and your past experiences. I think that's how general managers operate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wondered if we're being is there anything where we're being like just absolutely too harsh?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think there was like a deal that was like absolutely going to happen, and
I think
the other team let him down to the degree of this.
Even before this trade, and I've talked about this on the air, in conversations with people, that Daryl Morey has misread markets multiple times here. Very much less stressful, like the whole Jared McCain trade. A couple of years ago, it was my understanding that he really believed that he was going to be able to land Robin Lopez in the buyout market.
He blew the buyout market multiple years.
Because he thought players were actually going to be bought out, and then they never were. Then it was, oh, crap, what do we do? It was my understanding that Robin Lopez was one of those names, and Enes Kanter was like the backup plan because they needed a backup big. And they ended up with Willie Cauley-Stein because that was the only guy that was available to a 10-day contract, and he wasn't good at basketball either. So Daryl Morey's misread the market a couple times. This one far more egregious because you traded away a player.
I think this year that they thought they were going to get people in the buyout market. I think a lot of people thought like a Chris Middleton would have been available, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the players that you knew would get bought out. Oh, he's going to come here. Wesley Matthews was that name 55 years in a row.
Not an automatic.
And then he goes elsewhere. And Daryl Morey has misread that a couple.
You can get one or two of those, but when you're starting to get 5 of those and 6 of those, it's like, okay, maybe we're going in the wrong direction here.
All right, coming up next, our man Kevin Nagandi joins us. He's worked with Bob Myers. We can talk to him about that. He's also a Philadelphia sports fan. How many wins and losses does he have on the Eagles' schedule?
Did he think that the Eagles won schedule day?
We'll ask him that next here on The Fanatic.